Okay.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Christine Pereira, and I'm here with Shanti Zimmerman. Shanti, give a quick intro about yourself and what you just told me.
Okay. I am the world's leading emotional alchemist.
I love
And
that.
me too. And I know emotions like some other people know spirits and guides.
Mm-hmm.
Like channeling what they are and knowing how to alchemize and use them for the energy and to manifest and to create the future that I want to live in.
Fantastic. I
I
love
teach
that.
other people how to do it too. That's
That
my
is
favorite
awesome.
part.
I'm just adjusting my chair a little bit here. Very cool. And we're doing this call today, and I'm going to put this on my Soulful Selling group because I have a group
Cool.
on Facebook called Quiet Confident Sales. And
Mm-hmm.
it's specifically for women who really want to approach business in a more feminine way, right? Instead of the
Perfect.
masculine way, which is not necessarily all men, because there's definitely men in the group, but it's like doing it a very specific way, like pushing really hard, as opposed to a feminine way, which would be more like following your intuition and feeling what's right, and following that, as opposed to and waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
As opposed to the way I think most people think of doing business, which is, you just push, you work really hard and you keep working, and then it's just going to
The
happen.
hustle, but it's
Yeah.
the hustle that kills you. It's
Right,
not the hustle
right,
that like rejuvenates you and makes you feel alive. It's the
right.
hustle that's like, I need to take like a 10-month vacation now.
Exactly. Yes.
And I
And
don't do that. I'm not into that.
yeah, and we had another previous conversation, which was so interesting, about shame and blame and guilt, and especially how it's associated with money, which was so,
Oh, I have so much more downloads now since my last.
yeah. And you've just recently closed this program and had this amazing experience, which you've told me about. So I'd love for you to share even some of the things you said yesterday. I was like, I just was thinking that is exactly what I first of all need to hear, and also just it's so exciting to share
So I reached out to you because I was like, nobody is going to believe me.
that.
Like nobody. So let me start with like statistics and numbers, not to impress anybody or make anybody feel bad. Literally, I want to share this because I want to inspire.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
So let's start out. I'm going to tell the backstory real quick. I also wanted to do everything that everybody did, and I wanted to buy all the programs and the bright shiny objects, and wanted to buy 10 steps to that and 10 steps to that. And there's all right now a whole bunch of things I would love to be a part of.
Because you are a coach. So Shanti is a coach. And and there's so many coaching programs out there, and so many ways that people are teaching that you should do it this way and that way.
Exactly.
And
And maybe you look and you have like comparisonitis like I do every once in a while. And you're like, well, how do they do it? And if they're doing it like that, then I must have to do it like that.
Exactly. Yes.
But that way it doesn't feel good to me. And so I was like, all right. And I have to say really quick, I have every excuse for this launch to have been horrible. Like I have every excuse.
Yes. Yeah. You're doing a huge renovation on your house.
Huge.
Which
like
is
we live
crazy.
in 2 bedrooms. I have 4 kids.
Yeah.
My husband was hesitant. He's like, can't you just wait till like 2017? Can't you just like put this on hold? But the message, this is a big, big piece, especially I feel for women. The message wouldn't let me not do this.
That's awesome.
And when the message is that clear, I have to think there was like a grace in that. Like I couldn't say no. Right. So I knew I had to launch. And for me, waiting till like having a longer launch, because I started talking about it in June. So it was like I don't know what you call it, soft launch. I don't know. For me, I just start talking about it. That's a launch to me.
Right. You start mentioning it. Well, you put it out there in the world, right?
Exactly. I start creating it into my future. So I started talking about it, and I knew that the renovations were coming. I knew there would be like kind of like a pocket of like where I wouldn't be online and I wouldn't be actively launching. But before the renovations, I already had, I think, 3 people. That was big. And I got all kinds of advice from all kinds of places to tell me to price it lower.
Right.
To price it higher. To do a landing page. To give away something for free. To make sure I build my list. Like you do like all that stuff. Like you have a little thing and you get a list and da-da-da. I was like, yeah.
Right.
It's not my zone of genius. Yeah. And I have to tell you, I have no team. These are all going to be really vital pieces in a minute. So then I thought, well, for the very first time in my career, I'm going to get a landing page. And these really beautiful people made the most beautiful landing page that where the payment button doesn't work.
I think I saw that page. It was really nice.
It is really beautiful. Like the design is amazing, but they didn't give a shit about functionality.
Yeah, which is
like a landing page to me. A landing page to me is a PayPal button that's showing its cleavage. It's a really nice, beautiful pay me here button. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it doesn't have to be fancy. Right. I want something simple where people are like, I want that, and where do I push the button?
Right.
And the button was broken, and it screwed people up. Like people would pay, and then it would cancel it.
Oh.
Like it was like, I'm like, all right, that didn't work. There's, I think it was 800, and then I didn't pay the rest because I didn't feel like it was a delivered product.
No,
that was a fun conversation, by the way.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So I was like, okay, well, that's not the road I'm taking. And I kept talking about it. I kept being in the launch, but it was kind of like really, really soft. And then I knew the week before, so a week ago, roughly about 10 days ago, I knew that's when I would be in flow. And this is how I do launches. This is how I work. I'm not suggesting, I don't have a script. I don't have like a process. I just want people to know what's possible with like the most minimum thing you can imagine. Mm-hmm. The most minimum. So I have all this stuff going on, and I just start talking about it like crazy because this message is so important to me.
Right.
It is. I want everybody to hear this. So I can't stop, won't stop. I won't shut up. You don't like it, go away. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like, there's no blame, shame, or guilt.
Yeah. And like, it's so interesting that you said this is that was your time, because a lot of people would say like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde. Like you should definitely not do a new class during this time, but it was right for you. So I love that.
Exactly. It was like, I was just on purpose. This is huge. And here's the thing. You hear a lot of things about niche or what's your life purpose. And it is kind of really the thing, but I like to get into that. Like it is the thing. It's like, I stopped trying to be like anybody else. I stopped trying to follow anybody else. And I tapped real deep into my own emotional landscape, real deep. Like, what does this feel like? Who are these people? Like I started to call them in. Right. The work I'm doing is off the charts. Okay. We are now 3 days into the course, and I just sit here. Like, I'm like, I really can't believe how fantastic the people are and how they're showing up.
And so tell us a little bit about you were going to share the numbers just so people can framework, because it's it
was really important just to know that basically besides that landing page, I have zero investment in this launch.
Right.
Zero output, zero. All I have is myself, my Facebook page, and I'm like really prolific on live Facebook feed.
Like so you do a lot of, Facebook Live. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I changed my approach to how I do Facebook Live as well. First off, I started to introduce myself. I wasn't doing that. Just in case any of you out there are doing that, like I forgot to introduce myself. And then I realized that like my videos were going out to people and they didn't know who the hell I was, other than my name was underneath the video.
Right.
So I started to introduce myself, and I started to always tell people, like my videos weren't necessarily really about the experiment until the last 4. But at the end of all of them, and the last 4, I give it all away for free. It's all there. If people would go and watch those 4 hours, they would have the nuts and bolts. Right. So I'm not afraid that someone's going to run off with my stuff. It's just like, here it is. So when people came and said, it's too expensive, I'm like, well, it's free on Facebook. Go have a look. Yeah. Right. So I could I didn't have to
do a little more work. Yeah.
And or like there's all kinds of things that people we'll get to the conversations around money, because my sales call are unbelievable, because they're not like anything you hear.
And I like, because before you always told me, well, I don't have a sales call. It's just a conversation.
Exactly.
Like, well, that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I agree. But people have created this language like you have to have a sales call, you have to close them. And I teach kind of like an etiquette around a sales call, which is kind of just being prepared. But I love that you're like, it's a conversation. And you're right.
Yeah. And it's like, there's no script. You are the script.
Right.
And when you understand what you're giving and what you're offering and what you're inviting people into, and you understand it from like the deepest space in yourself, it's awesome. Because you're not selling, you're like saying, look, this is an awesome thing. I got it. And I want to give it to you. And if you want to have it, please come get it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I refuse, because of what my expertise were in blame, shame, and guilt. I refuse to apply any tactic that would push somebody into a pain point.
Right.
I refuse. I know what they are. I know exactly what they look like, and I'm super careful about it. But not like super careful to the point that I'm like vigilant and I'm dying and I'm exhausted.
Right.
But I prefer to talk to people's desires and their empowerment.
So you're tapping into what they want to feel. Right.
Yes. And when they put the money onto that course from that space, they own it. And they show up.
Right.
And there's nothing better when you're teaching a course than people who show up like that.
Oh, of course.
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, it's like you pretty much, I feel like I don't have to do anything. I just put like the prompts. I show up when I say I'm going to show up, but they're like literally a living, breathing. I have no words for like what's happening.
Yeah. And they set the intention. And that's so interesting because I have done some courses with someone where they do tell you this is exactly how you do the sales call.
I've had that too. I know all the
dig into the pain points. And it's not really a negative thing, right? But it's interesting the way you approach it. But it is like pulling that out of them. It's saying like, the approach is generally, hey, what is this like costing you to not, move forward or whatever it is. And they're saying like, oh, it's, causing me stress or I'm not making enough money or whatever. And I don't think it's negative, but I love the way that you can say, well, how do you want to feel instead? It's kind of just like taking that and flipping it around instead of saying,
I asked them I love this. My thing is like, what called you to the experiment?
Right.
And then we start to talk about that. Like, what was it that pulled you into this? Because people started having like dreams about me and dreams about the experiment.
Oh, wow.
This has been haunting me. Like, I can't leave it alone.
Wow.
And another lady was like, I've been watching the videos and crying every single time. Like, I've come home.
Wow.
Right. So stuff like that. Like,
incredible.
And so we start to talk about that. And then people would tell me what do you want? What's your end result? If you come into this course. Like I give them, like, I explain to them what it is for me and what's possible and what I've seen. And I give them stories about like the last time and the cool people. But then they tell me what they want. And so when it comes to the money piece, and I'm not afraid when people say I don't have the money or this isn't the right time. I'm like, tell me more about that. Like, what's going on there? Because you just told me these are your desires and these are what you want. And you were so excited.
Right.
And then something happened around the money. Well, how do you feel about money? And we go into the feeling, which is my specialty. What's the feeling here? And I am a stand. So before this launch, before I understood what my work really is, which is this emotional alchemy, my inner stance with people was I will meet them where they are and I will love them.
Right.
And that's a lot for, that can help people move really a lot. But this time I took a stand for people's desires and told them that they deserve to have what they want. Like, you're allowed to want what you want.
That's amazing. So let me just understand. So in the past, you might have said, okay, you're not ready to move to this place yet. I'm good with that. I'm going to hold space for you. And now you're like, no, you need to be here where I am because you deserve it.
Yep.
So move forward or step into that power because you're ready and I can see you there.
Exactly.
And that is a very different mindset. I love that.
So there was,
heard that expressed that way. And that's such a clear.
And we're all so afraid, especially like, and people wanted this. Everybody wants, we all want to feel like we all want to feel good in our skin. Right. We all want to know that we're okay. And we all want to know that how we feel is perfectly fine, no matter how weird and twisted and crazy it is.
Yeah. And I know that you've had some formal coach training, although you've like coached yourself. Yes. But I'm sure that's probably something that they teach in coaching, right? That like you have to meet people where they are and that like you shouldn't push them too hard, or I don't know if that's something that
in the coaching school that I would say that I came from, my first coaching school was Tony Robbins.
Okay. And he is kind of a more masculine, like energy.
And you learn all the scripts and you learn all the, like how to create transformation in a moment. But what for me didn't work out was that I was in there enough to see that the transformations weren't lasting. Once you have like this big emotional thing, but there was too much mind.
Yes.
And what
not
was
enough. Heart.
Yeah. So what happened was people would have a transformation, but they would think it was Tony. So when they left Tony, or they would other coaches, it was the coach that did that. No, dude. And so for my place that I approach people from is this is yours from the beginning.
Right. You own it.
You own it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
From the moment that you put the money there, it's yours. Like you are taking ownership of your desire and the fact that you want more and you want better, and it's okay to want more and it's okay to want better.
Right. Yeah. I love that.
We just don't believe that. Like, oh, I shouldn't want more. I should be okay with what I have.
I should be grateful for what I
have. We
have.
have a bajillion desires a day. That's our nature. We just want more and more and more. And that ain't never going to stop. We keep trying to not want more.
Yeah.
But more is our nature. Watch children. I want more. I want more. I want more. They won't stop. Yeah. So it's like, oh, it's okay to want more. I don't have to like I said, there's all these courses like Alice and our friend Stacy, and they're like launching these courses and they're beautiful and I would love to be in them. Right now, this is where my focus is, because this course and my work is what I want the most.
Yeah.
And I can see that because of the work that I do. So I feel all these desires. I'm like, ooh, and I let them be there and they're fun, but they're not distracting me anymore.
Right.
It's really big.
Because you've really tapped into what your core desire is, which is to bring this message out.
Yes.
So, oh God, I love that. So wait, share the numbers. Let's get that out.
Why am I avoiding that?
Just because they are so impressive and you shared them with me. So I think it's
so I closed out the number, and the numbers of the people, like my statistics is pretty insane as well. So I closed that launch at 27,000.
Wow. And it's a high-end program, but not so high-end. What's the price point?
It's going to be the most affordable price point to work with me forever.
That's great.
It's $1,800.
Right. It's $1,800 for a class.
It was $1,800, and then it was a payment plan for $666. It's 9 weeks of class, and then I leave the group open because of the nature of my work. So I leave the group open for 6 to 8 weeks longer, where I'm still active, but nothing like the calls and the classes and the whatever. It's really about they are on their feet, and there's nobody to talk about, because what we do is like, I love people. They've described it. It's like crazy magical shit.
Yeah.
So they still have a group where they can go in and say, this crazy magical shit happened. Understand.
Right.
So right now, this week is the really deep week. So,
and did you have a limit to how many people you wanted, or did you call in and say, like, I want this to be a group of X?
I like the work that I'm doing being intimate. I like to have my hands on people. So I said no more than 20.
And how many do you have?
15.
15. Okay, perfect.
So then, and I also hired 3 people who were in the group before from the last experience.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so that's an expense, I guess. But
yeah.
So I did pay something. So, and they're there to be active and supportive in the group.
To be like mentors,
Yes, the work that I'm doing, there's a lot of reasons why. At first, it's an energetic thing for me. It's me being supported so that I don't have to be like so in the group, which I am anyway, because I can't help myself. I'm like a kid on Christmas.
Right.
But so they're there to support me. They're there to support the group, because it's like we dive deep and then we become delusional, but we have to dive deep first, and then delusional is fun. And they're there because it's really important to me that people understand it's not me.
Right.
It's so psychologically, they see from the get-go, it's not me. I'm not like some special do thing, that what I'm teaching is available to everybody.
Right.
Like if they're willing to show up. And the money to do this work is important, again, because they own it. They've stepped into something and they say, I am in this. And because of the nature of the work that I do, it's vital that I get them that way. They come in knowing that they're ready and they've made that decision to be there. Yeah. They haven't been manipulated or twisted into it or whatever.
And were all of the people who purchased your class like through a phone conversation, or did you?
Yes, there's some statistics. So I talked to 17 or 18 people on the phone. 15.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's insane.
Right?
And just to give people like like what's the normal status, like 20, if you had a 20 or 30%.
I think it's like 20%. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be amazing. Like 40% would be off the charts. And you're talking like 90% or something.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And it's the nature of how I launched too, which I want to share as well.
Yeah. And did you have them fill out an application form?
No.
Okay. So it
No,
was
I'm
just like,
all
have
about
a call
intimate relationship. Like that was another thing I got offered too. Like you need to free up your time. And I'm not saying that in the future because this is going to get big. Like I know that my work is now, it is time, and I'm ready and I'm prepared and I'm like just on fire. So I know that I'm going to have to put systems into place because I cannot launch like this and have it be consistent when it's just me.
Right.
Not because I'm tired or I'm exhausted or I'm stressed out, because this stuff feeds me. And I know how to use my stress to feed what I'm doing. That's part of emotional alchemy. So it's more that in order for this to be sustainable, I'll have to put systems in place, and it will be easier for my clients as well.
Right.
More clear. But I'm not like, so I'm not against systems, but it will be like the absolute bare bones minimum.
Right.
Because the hands-on, it's like no matter how far I go up this ladder, I will do my own sales conversations.
Yeah. Oh, and I think that's so important too. I've had so many experiences where I've seen programs that looked interesting, and I would do the sales call, and the person was just clearly hired, not invested, didn't understand the program. And it just really, like, your excitement, you're like, oh, well, this must be what the program's about. And like,
Exactly.
it's not a good representation. And
although I have to say, I'm my coach right now. I was sold into like her mentorship. I'm a mentorship client by somebody else, but she totally invested.
Right. I think if someone's very well trained. Yeah.
No, she wasn't. She's invested in this woman's business.
Oh, interesting.
So that was like, that's a learning. I'm like, ooh, I like that. I still don't want it yet, but I'm open if it's like that.
Right.
Because it was like, she was, like she drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And that's what you want, right?
Right. Of course.
It was like talking to the lady herself, except that the lady herself is like, I am holding so much energy. I don't want to do those things. Just get on the phone call with me.
Right. Oh, that's great.
It was something to notice.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I like to share, I was like pushing, right? Not pushing, but really, the next day after I filled the course, I signed a client for 6 months at $25,000.
Wow. So you've made how much money, and how long was this time period that you were doing these sales calls? It was like 10 days or 2 weeks?
Less than 10 days.
Whew. And so that's like $50,000 in like 2 weeks.
Yes.
That's pretty damn good.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And none of the traditional things that people say you need to do. I wasn't ready. Internally, my internal stance, I was like, this is happening. It was just,
but there are a million reasons why you shouldn't have done it that. You could have waited. Yeah. Like the house.
I could have waited to make a website. And by the way, while they were doing my landing page, they found out that my website is so screwed up on the back end that I have to trash it.
It looks very nice in the front end, but
it does. But I was like, oh, okay. And I just, as soon as those things happened, like as it was leading, I'm like, all right, I gotta let go. And I gotta go in. And I gotta go in, and from in is how I will know what the next step is to be. And so that's the other piece of my launch. Like, just be yourself.
Yes.
Just be yourself. Be willing to be super vulnerable. So every single time I post, I wouldn't shut up about the experiment. And every time I wasn't thinking, oh, how can I manipulate people to want to have and come and get this?
Right.
It was, who am I calling in? Who am I talking to? So I guess this would be like the avatar, although I don't have that, like my ideal client.
Right.
But it was, who is calling this into being? So how I feel about my work is the people in the experiment right now called for this, and I answered.
Yes. I love that.
So this is how I feel about the work that I do. And so what I want to offer people is like, develop a course or whatever it is. And if you want to know like how I work behind the scenes, like I don't do my videos beforehand. I don't do my handouts beforehand. I don't create the program and then sell people into it. I am the program. So and because I work, so let's see, already so far, the group has said, right? Like one lady was, oh God, what was it? Oh, she wanted a meditation, or she wanted me to, I wrote that morning, here's the blame, shame, and guilt piece. And I sent it off to them. And she's like, well, could you like audio record this? And I'm like, I'll do you even one better. I'm going to sit down for a second and find a meditation that matches it. And it was completely opposite. So then I did a meditation that's called Return to Innocence. And I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't gotten that prompt from her. So it's like this living process. This is how I work.
Right.
And I trust it completely because I trust myself.
Yeah. And so can you talk about, you pulled some cards for this conversation, and I think that wasn't recorded. I think now would be a great time to share that, because I think people watching this, I think those cards are going to apply to them too. And
cool. I want to share that. And I want to share, I want to share that, like, this is an awesome way. Like, what I use cards for is for confirmation of what I already know and what I need to hear. And that's really important. I'm not looking for the cards for an answer.
Right.
I'm looking to the cards like they're oracles, right? They're reminding me of something I already know and something I need to hear loud and clear.
Yeah. And can you, if someone's not familiar with cards, can you just give a quick overview of like what these cards are and how you use them?
These particular cards are the oracle cards. I think they're the map. The Enchanted Map by Colette Baron-Reid.
Right. And you pull cards, and some people, there's all different card decks, right?
There's all different cards. Wait, you can pull one card.
Right.
And then you can pull the card for what I love, Colette's, is you pull the card for the day, or what I did now, I pulled the card for the call. So you call for the call, and then it asks, what else do I need to know? So that's the second card. And the third card is, where is this going?
Right.
And I do this every day. It's part of my rituals, which we can also get into, because really my rituals are how I do my business.
Right.
And I really want to teach people. I really want to teach people how I do my business.
Yeah. And like, to explain that in lay terms, I think that's how you tap into like your feminine wisdom. That is totally unique to you. And that enables you to like share that. So you could say that's tapping into your intuition or your inner guidance, or.
A really good way would be like, is meditation is my biggest piece in my business plan. And meditation looks like all kinds of things. Sometimes, like, I was just outside dancing in the grass,
right,
moving my body, and I know that that's part of my business plan,
right,
and I'm clear about what I'm creating. And so there's an intention and a surrender. That's what it is, an intention and a surrender to that.
Right. And for everyone, it's different. Like for me, it's so funny. I was thinking about it. For me, it's cooking, like, and it's not like measuring. It's like doing the chopping. Like, I just get really in the zone, like prepping the food, and like just kind of following my intuition with like the recipe. Oh, I want to do it a little bit differently. And that for me is like very meditative, or like,
yes. I love that. Because I believe meditation is whatever. We are meditation if you want to do that. But this is like intentional. I'm going to create my business with this.
Right. It kind of gets you out, anything that gets you out of your head. Yeah. Cooking, for me, walking by the lake is like amazing.
Yeah. Oh, nature's
whatever it is. Yeah. But okay. So the oracle cards, and there's amazing other decks. I have I love my animal cards, and I have these rebel cards that are awesome. But
yes, exactly.
These are awesome cards. These were so appropriate for this conversation.
Okay. So the first one, there it is. Okay. Is the sacred pool, and it showed up upside down. So it's called a reverse card. And it said, the world is a reflection of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Embody the love you wish to see in the world. And there's a whole paragraph underneath. You can go to Colette Baron-Reid's website and pull oracle cards every day for free.
Yeah.
I like having them myself.
The digital version, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a paragraph underneath. But for me, the greatest, it's always like the last three sentences really hit me. And it said, step into your magical life and take the leap of faith.
Yes, which is exactly what you just embodied. So it's such an appropriate card.
And for me specifically, personally, this phone call is me stepping into, I can teach you how to move your emotions around money so that this is easy. And I've been kind of like hiding from that. Right. That's why I reached out to you, because I came to those conversations not knowing that's what was being called through me. Not knowing that, hey, there's a different way to do this coaching business.
Right.
There's a different, easier way that doesn't drain you, that doesn't, like, for instance, my biggest business plan right now, like, it isn't to hire somebody to do my website. That's coming. I feel it. I know it's coming in the next couple of months. It isn't to hire, to learn strategy. It is to hire somebody in my home to help me with my home stuff, so I have more time to do my work.
Nice. That's
right?
great.
And that's a different kind of thing. That's a different kind of beingness. Right? My time, because of what I'm building, just became way more valuable.
Right.
To me.
Yeah.
Like, although like after this, I have like 6 loads of laundry I have to fold because it has not been my priority. Right. So, and I just did a video on Facebook of how I am manifesting and creating this person in my life. And it was probably one of the most beautiful for me shares of my meditative practice.
Yeah.
Publicly. It's 15 minutes. It's on my website. It's awesome.
And I feel like there is, just to diverge a tiny bit, because that card is so important, because I feel like there is I don't want to say a movement, but I feel like it's more like a wave of women creating these experiences like this that are following the feminine model.
It's funny because one of the ladies that signed up for the experiment, she's like, I've been waiting for a woman like you. Like, I'm so sick of the men.
Yes.
And so that's what, and I'm like, oh, yay, okay.
And that's why I started doing what I did, was because I was like, there's no one leading like sales or business in a feminine way. It's always push, push, push. But it's so funny because another woman I know, Beth Leone, is this amazing woman. She just launched a program and just closed it up. It's a very similar story to yours, where she kind of called in these 8 women. It might've been 8 or 10 women. And it was like, I would hear, like, people would ask her, oh, how's the sales conversation? Are you following the script? And she would say, I'm just doing it what feels right and what feels intuitive. Exactly. And everyone who pressed her, she kind of did it her own way. And I love that. This was a very high-end program. I think it was, like in the $6,000-$7,000 range. And
this is what's interesting. I have to say something to that.
Yeah.
This is what's interesting, is that the hustle's the same.
It is.
The hustle is the same if you're selling a $200 program or you're selling a $50,000 program. And that was a big download for me.
True.
A huge download for me. And this was like, okay, if I can do that, like I feel like a badass. If I can do that at that price point, I could do the same amount of work at a much higher price point.
I just learned the same lesson. It's
vital. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yes, because you put a lot of energy. I did a class that was a great Soulful Selling for Introverts, a $297 class. And I, once I started selling higher end programs, I was like, this is actually, it may even be easier.
Yes.
To do that. And so I absolutely agree. There's a lot of people have this block around, the price point, like, oh, I'm not worth that much, but it's not about you.
It's not about that. No, at all. Yeah.
Who are investing
in this, like, I had that too. This is why I feel like I really have a foot in teaching a new way. And I'm not teaching you a script. I'm teaching you how to be the script.
Right.
Like how to be who you are and how to let that come out.
Exactly.
Because it was like, there's a lot of pieces in there, like where I had to say no. People like, one guy was like, well, can I give you $50 right now? And like, where literally 2 years ago, I would have said, oh yeah.
Right. Okay. You would have met him where he was. Yeah.
Exactly. That was my inner stance. I'm going to meet you where you are. And now it was like, it was so clear to me. No, everybody else coming into this course, like put their stuff on the line.
Right.
And there's maybe next time, like it would be lovely to have you next time. I love your energy, but right now it's not the right time. It's okay. Right. And plus I don't want somebody being in my course who's struggling for money because then they're not present.
That's very true.
They show up and they're in a panic and they're in that panic of, and there were people that had that feeling and we worked through it in the sales conversation. So they don't show up with that anymore. Right. And it really, for me, the message is, you got this. I trust you. You make the decision. And 2 of the sales calls ended. One of my favorite ones was, and you have to understand when I share this, you have to understand there was a deep relationship already established, because otherwise it sounds like I'm an asshole or something. We had talked for a long time. There was a lot of going back and forth. And then I just said, hi, just checking in. Are you done beating yourself up yet, sweetie? I'm in. And he paid. Because that was his pattern.
Right.
He wasn't letting himself off the hook. And another one was like, I wrote her, all these things. And she was one that was like, there were 2 people that literally sold themselves into my course. Like they were talking. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to shut up.
Right.
Like, I was just like, yeah, that's perfect. Yep. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yep. It was like the whole conversation for me was like, yeah, okay, here's the button,
Right.
And, but she hedged it a second. She's like, well, maybe it's not the right time. And I was like, and we talked a little bit. And the last thing, the thing I said to her right before she said yes was, hey, I'm not going to let your desires go. You can hide, but you can run, but you can't hide. That's what I wrote.
Right.
And she's like, okay, I'm in. I've never been marketed to like this. This is awesome.
Right. And see, it's like women want that. They want to have this conversation. I mean, I've certainly been sold and been okay with it, but to have this kind of approach, you're like, this is the way it should be. And this feels so right. And to your point, like, I think that when you make the decision and it comes from your heart, then you own it.
Yeah. Like, and my promise literally is everybody will leave this experience transformed.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. I don't care if you're stubborn as fuck and you're sitting in the corner, I will figure out a way.
Right.
And that helps me to be really clear on what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Like I don't believe in failure, but it is like Tony Robbins says, failure is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't fail, but that's really what it is. I'm so devoted to the work that I do, and I'm so devoted to what I just said that everybody will leave transformed, period.
Right.
And not just transformed a little bit, but for the rest of their lives. And if they don't play when they afterwards, because it happened last time, like people would sort of like just dip their toe in, and then all of a sudden, like a month later, something happened in their lives and they remembered this thing. And so it's like riding a bike. Once you've learned what it is, nobody can take it away from you, and you can't forget it.
Right. But
every time there's a bike, you know how to get on it and go down the street.
That is so true. Because I have to say that's been like my experience with like following my intuition. Once it's like confirmed and something happens, like I think it definitely happened when I was pregnant with my daughter, and everyone was like, oh, do you think you have a boy or a girl? And I was like, I know it's a girl. Like, no question.
Yes.
And people would laugh, and they'd be like, oh, I'm going to check in with you after you have your ultrasound, and like, I'll make you a bet. And I was like, I will bet you $1 million because I have zero doubt.
Exactly.
Zero.
That is okay. I would
just laugh. And from that moment forward, like I had that experience because I just knew. And I think when you're a parent too, it comes out a little bit more, and you can really get in touch with your intuition. But from that moment, I was like, my intuition is right. It is always right. Yeah. And it was so interesting in that experience because, of course, then we went and it was a girl, and I was like, of course it's a girl. Like I already knew that.
Exactly. Duh.
Right. And but it's true because after that point, I started following my intuition more and more, and I couldn't not follow it anymore.
Exactly.
Because I was like, now I have bad feelings in my body if I make a bad decision, and it's very, you can feel it. It just becomes stronger and stronger. Like people will say, oh, if you follow your intuition, you build it like a muscle. It's true. And I think what you're talking about,
what you're calling intuition is what I call the emotional landscape, and it is our most natural navigation tool. We are born with it. We are made to do it. It is the most natural state of it. We've just kind of been like, we've trained ourselves out of it.
Yeah, we've untrained ourselves. Yep.
Exactly. And you just go, and people take to it like what? And the first thing the mind says is, what? It can't be that easy. And it is that easy if you let it be.
It's true.
If you let it be, really that easy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, let's look at the other cards because I thought those cards were so relevant.
Good. Yeah, this is a beautiful card. It's called Ride the Wave.
And what was the background on this card? It was, this is what I need to know.
What else do I need to know?
Oh, what else do I need to know?
For this call, yeah. So it's two dolphins, and on the back of one of the dolphins in the riding a wave is a fairy. He's so cool. These cards are beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ride the wave. Right now, success is easy and effortless. I'm like,
exactly what you just proved. Yeah.
And it says you can be assured that you're entering a time when you can ride the wave of abundance.
Right.
The tide has turned, and you can put your surfing skills to the test. Everything that you know, all your talents coupled with your hopes and dreams will carry you forward. People and circumstances have come out of the ocean of potential and possibility to take shape in a wave of spectacular activity. Know that you are definitely on the right path.
Oh, I love that. And I think that's a message for people who are watching this as well. And it is.
Of course. Like, yeah.
It's about knowing yourself and finding that. And exactly what you just said. It is that easy. Like it is, it seems crazy, and it goes against all of everything in our brain. But our heart knows that it really is. Yeah.
It's like things that come up to me when I'm doing my like yoga dance practice in the morning. Sometimes it was like, I can have everything I want. And it's not necessarily a voice. It's like a feeling. I can have everything I want. And this morning for me, it was, I choose. And this is huge because a lot of us go in this place of like, I'm not in control, or I need to be in control of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more of a free will choice, a choice from a higher place.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to show up. I choose to be here. I am here. I am here. And that's such a big thing. It's such a big thing. I'm here, and everything I've ever learned to this point is enough.
Right.
It's enough for me to just be here in the world and give my goodies.
Right. You don't need all the classes and all the books and all the instructions because you already have all the answers.
Right.
That's so funny. I wrote a blog post like probably a year ago about this, but I never published it. And it's like, hey, there's someone who knows all the answers. Like, guess what? It's you.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've just, this is why I love my work, because it is exactly that. When they walk out of this, they will know who they can turn to.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be themselves. Yep. And they will know how to ask other people for support.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was for me the most important thing, that after being in my course, they may go on and do other courses, but it will never be from a place of I'm not good enough and I need to fix myself ever again. That is like a promise that I make. And I make that within myself, and I stand for that. And then I show up like that.
Right.
That's really what it's all about. It's that profound and that simple.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
And so when I got online with that, that's why the money's here.
Yes.
The money didn't come because it wasn't reversed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell people the money's fun. I'm having so much fun. It's so great. It feels so good. But what feels even better is knowing what my message is. Right. And knowing that I could talk about this all day long, never shut up about it, and teach it till forever.
Yeah. And do you have this? Oh, go ahead.
I could die today.
Right, because you've gotten this message.
Yeah.
So do you have this feeling like you've like unlocked the secret? Like inside, like you've like tapped into it and you're like, oh, I got it. Like that was the one I was looking for.
Well, it's magic. And here's the really cool part I have to tell you is like, I've always been doing this to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. And I've always taught the experiment under other courses. I just didn't know that now it's its own thing. I taught it as some little piece, like, oh, this is interesting.
Right.
I always felt people won't believe it. People won't believe, but really I wasn't believing it. Mm-hmm. And so I took myself really deeply into it. And now I can say, you can heal your body rapidly. You can heal your relationships overnight. Mm-hmm. You can do all these things because I live it. So nobody can like people they can argue with me. They can tell me I'm full of crap. I'm like, okay, that's cool, because I don't have anything to defend because I live it. I'm my proof. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important too, is to like, if you don't believe in what you're doing, that's where it gets really difficult and sticky. But true. I wouldn't say that I unlocked the secret. It's like I teach people in the experiment. I believe in magic. I remember that belief in magic as a child. Right. And I live that.
And you've had validation from many, many people and stories that it's not just you. It's not like you're the only one doing it. It's like everyone has this magic.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like when you tell me about it. I'm like, you like figured it out. Like that's it. And it's all like, I feel like that's like the magical, you call it the experiment, but I'm like, that is like the secret.
It's like the secret juju. It's magical, crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like people really have a hard time like putting words to it. It's just, I've had people with cancer, and we can go into like the healing story, but that's not it wasn't about, are they going to heal the terminal illness? We're all terminally ill, by the way, we all die. But can I navigate this experience from a place of like peace and calm and deep connection with myself? And absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then both of them, the clients that I had that had cancer, no longer have cancer.
Wow. That's crazy.
There's that piece to the work that I do as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at the last card, which is...
The last card is my favorite. The last card is, where is this call going to go?
Yeah. Where is this going? Okay.
Wide open, it says.
Like unlimited possibilities.
It's this woman and there's a butter with sparkly. It's kind of like a twilight sky, and she's in this really beautiful dress, and she's standing on a stone way up, like just our arms wide open to the world. It's really beautiful. You are free to express your uniqueness to the world and to share in all the bounty of life's endless possibilities. And the underneath is, all manner of opportunities are presented to you at this time. The wide open card is a signal that you are able to truly manifest your dreams and that your goals are in sight. Don't remain small and contracted. Instead, expand your horizons beyond what you believe to be your limitations. This is what the experiment is all about.
Right.
You have a unique voice. I do. But so do every single one of us.
Right. Exactly. Everyone has that.
You have a unique voice that needs to be expressed in the world because there's no other person like you.
Mm-hmm.
The universe is supportive of new ideas and approaches at this time. So speak up and speak out. This is really interesting because I truly believe that what I'm teaching isn't new. Right. I have a unique, my perspective on it is unique, and my perspective on it is simple and easy. Mm-hmm. But like other people have taught it over the eons. And what we're coming up to now is when you experience something and it comes through you, it's going to be different. And then more people can hear it. Mm-hmm. Don't keep that shit to yourself. This card is a sign of the maverick. That's a really good one. That's what I want to talk about too. Who freely roams the wide open space of possibility. Allow for a greater vision to replace old ideas as you dream a grander dream. That's beautiful. And for me, like I said, it was like the experiment and what it does is awesome. But I knew when even in my launch that I need to talk to people about this. At first, it was like, I just need to get the story out because I want people to know that it's possible without anything, like without money. If you just really get on point with what you're selling and you love it and you love yourself and you love the people that are coming. Right. And you really are into it and you love what you're doing. But being the maverick, I'm willing to shift. So I could like run the experiment as my signature program for the next 5 years. I don't see that happening. It's going to go further and further and further. And one of those pieces is this sales piece. Yeah. And one of those pieces is if you understand the emotionality tied to money, then you can talk about money in ways that nobody else does. That feels like finally somebody sees me. Somebody understands me. Somebody gets my issue. And that is huge, 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 huge. Yeah. To feel like, instead of feeling like money is a contractor, to feel like money is an expander, even when somebody sitting next to you feels like it's a contractor. Yeah. Because money is really a representation, right? It's like kind of represents what we want or what we're scared of. Exactly. We never want the money. I mean, you can't eat money. You can't lick money. You can't, I mean, well, you could, but it's not going to give you anything. And so that is really the basis. Everything we're doing is for a feeling. Everything we're doing is because we want an experience. And this is what I say about emotions. If you don't have emotions, if you because a lot of people want to transcend them, this very spiritual community mindset. If you have no emotions, you don't experience yourself. Right. You don't exist to yourself. You can't. And we don't experience, where I come from a different place of you hear your thoughts create your reality. Your emotional landscape creates your reality. And your emotional landscape creates your thoughts. Yeah, that's so interesting. Feeling happens 7 seconds before thought happens. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Because I was just thinking like, with money, it's kind of like it's almost like that's like being in your head, right? You're thinking about the money and the money like is representing. But if you thought about it, instead of substituting like your thoughts about money for the feelings that you want, so instead of saying like, I don't have enough, or it's wrong to want this, or I feel bad asking for this because it's associated with money, instead replacing that with like the feelings. Exactly. Right. That's exactly what I did, and exactly how I did what I did. Exactly. It was like, I have been feeling like, I don't know, $1 billion. I don't even know what $1 billion feels like. Right. But I'm just like, I'm grokking it. Right. And what I call it is true wealth. I feel truly wealthy no matter what the money in my bank is. Right. And then what happened when the money fall just happened, the $50, when you feel that way, when you feel like true wealth all the time, the level of gratitude that you access. See, the fear is if I feel wealthy, I'm going to be a narcissistic butthole. Right. Or something. Right. But you exponentiate your ability to tap into your emotional experience of gratitude. Right. Because I was living in that space and not worried that I didn't need anybody's money. So I could be clear and open in my communication. Also, when I thought, this isn't for you, sweetheart, just let that go. And so when when the money was there, the money's here. And it's like, there's nothing but like an incredible amount of gratitude. Like, I don't know. It's beyond like when you get what you want. It's beyond that.
Right. Because you help people get what they want. So it is beyond, because it wasn't
Yeah.
like you got them to pay you. It was like they paid really for themselves. Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of
It's like,
people will say that it's an
so,
investment in yourself, but to feel that is different than saying that.
yeah. And not only that, I have a really simple business plan, and I make sure that like I said, I make the promise, and my stand inside is I show up for your desires, but it's being fully myself, whatever that is in every moment, because it's changing all the time. Come from generosity, which has not been, that's something else I want to talk about, because it was like, oh fuck, that's part of my business plan. I have to follow through with what I promise. That wasn't so easy. And that was a really interesting pinch for me. It's over now. And I'm like, can't wait to do it again. And then do epic shit. That's it. That's my business plan.
Right.
It's so easy. And so I donate a part of my every single launch and everything that I do in my business. I donate to One Light Global, which is just, it's an NGO on the ground in the refugee crisis.
Okay.
So it's like, that's my passion.
Right.
It's not my purpose.
Yeah.
So I can support, now I use my purpose to support my passion.
Yeah.
And I looked at my husband and said, it's the first time I can do that, like so freely, without feeling like, oh my God, it's taking money from my family or from my business. I made enough that it doesn't faze me.
Right.
One of the people in here who signed up, she has a really incredible story. I'm not going to share it too much, but all of her devices died like the night before. And she literally is like on a level of financial, like it's a real reality for her that money's tight. And I looked at my husband and I said, okay. And I called up one of my other clients that's in the Netherlands. And I said, look, I need you to organize as quickly as possible a device for this woman so that she can be a part of this group, because she was going to like an internet cafe.
Oh,
and we're talking about like deep stuff.
Right. Right.
And I'm like, that's a brave person right there. Like, that's really
right. Yeah.
And I just did that. I didn't have to think I don't have the money or where am I going. It was just this ability to be my business plan is, I have no words for that.
Right.
Like, and because I live from that space, it was like, oh my God, it's real. You know, like now it's in form. I've been living from this space for at least 6 months.
Right.
And now it's here. And the feeling in my body is indescribable.
Yeah. Oh, so amazing. So what tips would you give to someone who like to get there? I don't know if you want to, because the experiment is kind of hard to explain.
No, I don't. This call is not about the experiment. It's about the next program I will launch.
Yeah.
And it's about, let's get you straight around your emotions and your money.
Right.
Because when you have that, you no longer need to know anything about sales.
No,
because we naturally do this. It's like, if you, like, for example, I love my vacuum. It's a Dyson. And I could talk to everybody about it because it's fucking awesome. Right? And I just do that. I don't even think about it. Like, if you're thinking about getting a vacuum, you got to get it because of this and this and this and this. And a lot of us do that. It's like social proof. Like, you know, people, why does everybody buy Apple? Why does everybody buy Nike? Why are you associated with those brands? You know, why can't you do that for your own stuff?
Right.
Like, be so excited and so sold. And here's another place I come from. I create courses I want to see in the world. And I want to be in. So I tell myself, if I get 3 people, if I get 1 person, if I get no persons, I'm going to go through what I have agreed to do. So if nobody was sitting in the experiment right now, I would still be doing the videos. I would still be doing the meditations. I would still be doing the work. Because it's about me. It's about my unfoldment. And we are all teach learning.
Right.
So what I'm teaching, I'm going to learn. So I better be teaching something I want to learn.
Right.
And want to dive deeper in and want to get more rooted in. And something that I could just do because it's easy.
Right. Which is completely against what everyone would teach you to do, which is like, make sure you test out the market and teach something you feel very comfortable with.
Okay. But for this launch, 15 people out of 18 people signed up.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
0. I didn't look, I don't even know how, to be honest.
Right.
Like, I just create, and I trust that what I want in the world, other people do too. It's inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk any more about the sales calls? I know we're almost at an hour, but I feel
The
like
only thing that happens in the sales calls is when you're clear on money. Like, so for
Mhm.
example, somebody would say to me, I really want to be in your course, but I don't have the money. I said, well, you want to hop on Skype? Let's talk about this.
Mhm.
Because when somebody says a want,
Mhm.
I'm right there. All of a sudden, I like, my husband calls it the bloodhounds, which makes it feel like really like, I'm like, that seems really violent. But there's this thing in me that wakes up and goes after that desire.
Mhm. Well, you hold that desire and you ask them
Yeah,
to meet you. Yeah, which is, I think,
exactly.
so just fundamental. And I think if people thought that way, like,
And I'm not afraid to say, okay, I didn't see, I don't have money. I saw, I want this. I'm like, okay, I'm going
right,
to answer that. I'm going to answer your call. And then I ask them what called you to reach out to me, because it takes a courageous person, especially because of how I launched. Every
right.
single thing that I wrote on Facebook was intense, and it was a personal story. And I shared everybody else's story, and I shared my love of everything.
Mhm.
So even for a person to reach out and say, I want to have some of that, is courageous. So I would
Oh,
always be
definitely.
right. And so it was able to meet them in that point. So my sales calls were like nothing like anything I've ever heard. It was me and you talking about your desires.
Mhm.
What's calling you, and why do you feel that emotional alchemy? Why do you think that emotions are important? And here's the
Mhm.
thing, we were all told, I don't know if we were, but here's my story. As a kid, stop crying. That's ridiculous.
Mm.
Don't get so upset. You're just letting your emotions take over. Be quiet. And so from really early on, I thought it's not okay to feel the way I feel.
Right. My emotions are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, they're potent magic and medicine. Potent.
Right.
I truly believe that emotions are our magic juju.
Mm-hmm.
And they are what connect us to the spiritual realm or God or source or whatever you believe. The emotional landscape is the vortex. It is alignment. You can never be out of it. You can pretend like you're not. Like I like to say, you can have the experience of being lost, but you can never lose yourself.
Yes. That's
Ever.
so true.
And,
Yeah.
and we, in the experiment, it comes down to, I know that that's what I am. And so I'm now applying this really deeply I watched myself do it in the sales process. I watched blame
Mm-hmm.
shame come up. I watched how I looked at it, how I alchemized it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where I was like, holy crap. I just lost. And by the way, Sunday night, my husband completely abandoned me. Like Sunday was my last day of my launch. I'm putting all the pieces in place. I'm writing all the logistical stuff for everybody. I'm putting in the first lesson. I'm recording the first meditation. Really cool thing I have to say. I'm glad that just came up. The moment somebody pays you,
Mm-hmm.
give them something. Give them something. So immediately they have something. So I created a 20-minute meditation for that. So the moment somebody paid, I sent them that meditation, and it was already like a pre-prep.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so simple, and it didn't need to be the 25 steps of whatever.
Right.
So just be ready to give. It's like it's the acknowledgement of exchange.
Right.
And it's so awesome. Like, I can't tell you how good it made me feel.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, all I'm about. Sorry, what was I saying?
Oh, you're saying your husband the night of the
Okay, so Sunday's my last day. I have 4 children. We're living in 2 rooms cramped in like this little space. And he's like, I'm going to go for a kayaking trip. Okay, shit. All right. So we organized the 2 little ones away, and I'm doing my stuff, and I'm really in here, and I'm not eating because it's like awesome. It's like being in love. That's how it feels to me when I'm really on fire. And and when it was over, it was all done, and I'm like, fudge, I'm awesome. Like, I just did that all by myself.
Which is like, yeah, it's amazing.
Anybody can do this when they understand why they're doing something, and they understand the emotionality behind it, and they understand, like, why have they been turned off to marketing? Why are they avoiding selling their stuff? And it has everything to do with your emotions. Everything.
Yeah.
If you clear that up, if you understand it, if you can see it, because I still get blame, shame, and guilt stuff. I feel everything. Like, there's not a thing I don't feel.
Right.
But I know exactly, there's that thing, and I can alchemize the energy, and it was like my mentor said, she's like, okay, there's still stress, because I don't experience it as stress, but there's still an energy of stress that I'm able to alchemize and put into pushing forward. So it feels like there's like this huge wind at my back.
Mm-hmm.
And I got real clear messages of when you need to go outside now for 2.5 hours. And I'm like, but I'm in the middle of the launch. And it's like, no, right now you need to get your butt outside in the grass, put your toes in the earth, take a chill pill, go let some sun on your face and wind in your hair and just be with yourself.
Right.
And where my mind's like, oh my God, I was like, no, I learned not to listen to that. I go outside, I come in and I've made a sale.
Right.
So this is a very magical way of creating business. For sure.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you for recording this because I wanted to get it all like into something that I could like, so I have a record of it.
Yeah.
Right? And then I also knew that there's people that need to hear this.
Yes.
Like,
and
you don't need all the fancy shit. Just be you, be excited, love what you're doing, love the people you're talking to.
Yeah. And so where can people find more information? Is your website working or should they just go to Facebook?
They should just go to Facebook, and it's my private page. I'm not using my business page at all. I didn't use it one single time for this. I mean, it doesn't mean I won't, and I won't start moving people over there because, the friend limit is only so high. But there's so much more for me, that intimacy, the relationship building for me. And I'm not sick because we all have a unique way to sell. So I would never teach you to sell the way I sell. Ever, ever, ever. This doesn't work.
Right. It's figuring it out. What is right.
What is it for you? Where is, when I'm on live feed, for example, time completely drops away. So that's how I know that's my thing. That's my thing. But other people might stand in front of the camera and be like,
right. And not be comfortable. Right.
And that's not their thing. But maybe writing, like, and, or maybe like a photography with writing, is like, who knows what it is. Maybe it's like Periscope. Some people are awesome on Periscope. I suck on Periscope. Funnily enough, right? It's not my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not what you connected to. Yeah. And everyone's different.
Your thing, that place where you can talk about your stuff with like just not ever feeling drained, not ever feeling like it's horrible or it's, and if you feel like, I don't want to do that, don't do it. Don't do it. Trust yourself, please. Trust yourself. That is what I want people to know.
Right.
Trust yourself and do it your way, and your way will work.
Yeah. Okay. So Shanti Zimmerman on Facebook is the best place to find you. And thank you.
For now, until it explodes into the universe.
Right. Exactly. Okay. I'm going to stop recording, but I want to talk to you after this.